So we already have a repository on GitHub. We can show it to our future employers and another developers who can have an in-depth view of the entire file structure and the history of changes. But you can also use GitHub as hosting, where after entering the appropriate URL in the browser, the user will see our website or web application, the repository of which we have placed on GitHub. And I'm about to show you how to do this. Let's go to our project on GitHub. As you can see, this is our repository. Here we have the About section, where we have our description and the link to our README file. And if we click this gear icon right here, we will get this window. Here we can change our description, for example. But what is interesting for us is this website input you can see. Here you can see the URL to our GitHub repository, but it's actually a placeholder. And what we want to place in here is the URL to view our project of this specific repository. So let's do this. Let's close this window for now. Let's go to settings right here. And let's scroll it a little bit. To the option where we can see GitHub Pages. We can see the information now that Pages settings now has its own dedicated tab. So let's click check it out. And what you can see is actually we have a specific tab right here, which is called Pages, which is responsible for setting our GitHub pages. As we can see here, GitHub Pages is designed to host our personal, organization, or project pages from a GitHub repository. You can see that GitHub Pages is currently disabled, and we can enable it for this repository. So let's click this button, None, right here. And we can select a branch of this repository that we want to place on GitHub Pages. As we know, we only have one default branch, which is master in our case. So let's check it. Now we have settled it. We have our branch master. It's in our root directory. So all we need to do now is to click this save button. Let's do this. And now we can see that your site is ready to be published and the URL to our project on GitHub Pages. Let's mark it. Let's copy it. And let's go back to our repo site. This is our repository page. Now we can go to the About section once again. Click this gear icon once again. Click this website input and paste our new URL. Let's paste it. As you can see, it's the same URL as it was as a placeholder. But as we know, our GitHub pages were disabled for this repository. But now since we enable it, everything should work perfectly fine. But let's check it out. Let's click this button, Save Changes. And now you can see that if someone will visit our repository page on GitHub, we'll get this link right here to check how this project looks and works in a browser. Let's click it. And this is the effect. We click it, we have a bee, now we have a balloon, and everything works how it should. So we can also copy this URL, place it on our social media, or send it to our friends so they can see the effect of our work, even if they are not developers. Now let's go to this gear icon once again, because I want to show you what is exactly in this URL to GitHub Pages. First of all, we have the name of our account on GitHub. Then we have a dot. Then we have the GitHub domain. Then we have IO extension. And after slash, we have a name of our repository. Let's close this for now. Now, if you want another name in this URL, all you need to do is go to settings and change the name of your repo right here. Then this name will be also visible in the URL to the project on GitHub Pages. So this way, if someone wants to preview our project and see how it really looks and works without downloading the whole repository, it can be done just by clicking on this link. I recommend GitHub Pages because it's a simple, convenient, and free way to host our projects and the opportunity to show them to other users. For example, friends who are not necessarily developers, but would want to see the results of our work.